welcome everyone. I just thought, following on from my conversation with Julian, my nephew.
Hello, everybody.
That was a completely organic conversation that I had with Julian. He just came in one day and I'd been thinking about it for a little while to just bring him in and have a chat. We often have chats about many different aspects of life, and I was really interested to see what he'd picked up from school, from his father, from his mother, you know, his friends, what this whole world of money is all about. And it reminded me, after on reflection and then listening back to the video, how much kids pick up with respect to money ideas from a really early age. And so I think it's been a little bit of a bugbear of mine, reflecting back on my own schooling, but also what I perceive is still lacking in the schooling system around the education of kids and their financial literacy. We know that the most financially compromised individuals are young people just coming out of school with a form of disposable income and the ability to get credit cards and so on, with really, potentially sketchy ideas about what consumerism is all about, not necessarily understanding the time value of money or compounding, how to save and all of that. So when I had a conversation with Julian, there were a number of themes that came up. He said that if you gave him $1, he would save it somewhere, because if you spend that dollar straight away, you only have one thing.
If you only have $1 and you want to get it straight away, you won't have any money to do it, and you will only have like one thing. Only one thing.
Which I found very cute, but also interesting that he'd already picked up on this concept of saving, the idea of a deferral of present consumption, the idea that there is a friction associated with not spending now. But the benefit of not spending now is that you can get more of that good thing going forward. And this is an idea that I think should be strongly encouraged in the household. It's the whole marshmallow test, right? Defer the marshmallow, maybe you'll get a second one, that sort of idea. That's really complex and difficult for a child to implement, just given the nature of the developing brain and the want to act out on your impulses. But the sooner we can actually explain these concepts and implement these concepts with children, the better off they are, because this pattern of saving over the long term is something that can really make a big difference over time. This idea, Julian talked about the difference between a want and a need. He almost talked about that expensive couch versus, a cheaper couch was in his mind at the time.
If you want to get a very expensive couch, just get a normal couch instead of an expensive couch.
We really want to define and distill with kids what is the difference between a need and a want. Most of the time when children are talking about their wish list, it's usually related to wants. But we also want to distill what is a need, and the need is something that is fundamental, is essential for our living, whether it be shelter related, whether health related, whether it be food and sustenance related. These are the matters that are really about, that are needs. And I think the ability for a child to be able to distinguish between a need and a want is something that's really important. So we talk about groceries being a need, potentially a house or shelter being a need. But video games, or I think Julian was talking about some sort of toy that he wanted, is really not a need but a want.
I would like to buy like a cool toy or something.
The importance of earning money, not just being given it. So this idea that, I have a friend who has created a contract with his kid. He's written out a formal contract that sort of stipulates how much money this child will get based upon what sort of chores, and then potentially as well how that money is apportioned out, some for discretionary, some for saving for a rainy day, and another for actually giving away. And so I found that really interesting that he'd sat down with his child and negotiated effectively a contract and has implemented it. I mean, maybe that's an extreme form of this idea, but earning money and the importance of it, and not just receiving it for no consideration or effort, is something, again, that can be taught really early on. Again, this idea of charity and giving, even in the smallest way, is something that, is very helpful and meaningful later on in life, when we want to be part of a broader community. And Julian was discussing that he had some money and he wanted to give it away to poor people who don't have any money.
I do have $16.
Okay.
But I can't buy anything because I'm giving my money away for the poor people who don't have anything.
I'm not sure if he even understands that idea right now, but I think it's an important concept. But I think it's up to us at a household level to potentially educate children in this area. So what is charity? What means something to the kids? Do they understand it? Why do you give? And why does it make a positive impact? All these things are really, really important. We have some families that will apportion a certain amount of money of the household budget to the child and ask the child to investigate what are the things that they find really important to them, and give the family a bit of a presentation on why they think it's important. And then again, coming back to this sort of smart spending decisions idea, Julian said instead of getting an expensive couch, you should get a normal couch, whatever that means. But the idea is, interesting. This idea, again, this distinction between needs and wants, making smart spending decisions and comparing prices and looking for discounts and waiting for sales, and what you want to be doing with the money that you actually save. Again, this idea that there might be an amount of money that you want to save for the future that has a greater amount of importance or meaning.
Because if it's expensive, you give more money away.
And so I know the video itself was kind of a cute, macro level conversation with Julian, but my intention was to really bring out the idea that children pick up a lot more than we give them credit for, and they've already got some preconceived ideas. So why not work with those and address some of the issues that we've just discussed here, when potentially some schools are starting to make some headway into this. But I think nothing beats at a household level having conversations like this around the dinner table. I know that as a young person, my father was a financial planner as well. So conversations around financial planning were had very much regularly, and I've very much been a beneficiary of that over time. So look, I hope this has been of interest to you. And if there's any games you play or any strategies that you have to communicate with kids around money, I would love it if you posted, commented, liked, shared stories on the socials with us. So very much appreciate it. And in this, I'm actually interested in what you might have out there that you're implementing with your children that might be really valuable for the community. I don't have all the answers here, but I'm simply addressing some of the issues that came up in this particular video.